Hiya, Amajot here, your transformation and resilience coach. And I thought I'd jump on here today. I've got an appointment in a little while, but I thought I'd jump on here because I've been thinking about this for myself this morning. And I was watching a video that prompted me to do this live stream. And so my question to you is this, and it's around stuckness, and I think I've been doing a lot of work around stress relief and kind of connecting to that resilient part of yourself, helping to manage your stress. And actually one of the things that I know when I was really stressed back like sort of 7, 8, 9 years ago was around, I would feel really stuck. Like I was really good at probably throwing around the word I'm stressed. You know, I need to change my life, I'm stressed. But if I think about how I felt about it, then it felt like sludge. Like it felt like I was moving through life and work and relationships like through sludge. Everything felt hard and I felt like I was sinking a lot, or I felt like I was in a rut a lot of the time. And so what I've really learned over the years that helps me, because I can go back to that place. I just won't stay there for very long nowadays. So it can still happen, but it just doesn't happen as long, because I tend to recognize it. And that's because I've really learned to understand myself and also what works for me when it comes to feeling stuck, or when it comes to like for me, I know I've changed my baseline. My baseline was here in terms of how much crap I took on in my life, how much responsibility, what felt like burden. And I feel like I've raised my resilience levels. Like I've raised it. Like I have been through illness, I've been through burnout, I've made life choices that felt difficult but courageous. And now I feel like I can still get stressed, but I can manage it, and I don't fall apart completely, and I don't disconnect from the whole world as much as I used to. And you know, again, all these things can still happen, but I recognize them, and then I can choose to do something about them. And I thought I'd just share this with you in case you're feeling something similar, or in case you're feeling your own version of stuckness, where this is really helpful for me to notice, to help me bring, if I'm feeling stuck, then it's usually because I'm out of balance or out of kilter in somewhere in my life. And what does balance mean for me may not be the same as what balance means for you. So I think it's important to think about, well, what does balance mean? And that could mean you're feeling steady, or you're feeling in flow, or it could mean that say hello if you're jumping on, by the way, because I can't always see. It might mean that you're when you're feeling your happiest, whatever balance means for you. But for me, it can also mean that I feel like something in my life is out of place or out of sync. And it's more the kind of something's missing or something's not right, rather than, you know, what is it that I need to do? It's that feeling of something's not right here. And I think what can be really useful, that I'm hoping is useful for you, is to look at it from this aspect that I'm going to talk about, which is why I asked the question, when did you last do this? And I think this is something that we can all do regularly to really help to stay in flow, help to recognize our stuckness, help to choose to change whatever we need to in our lives to live that life that we want and dream of, and have fulfilling, happy relationships, and be able to manage the stress and the adversity that life throws at us, because that happens too. You know, it's really hard to not live that kind of life these days. So there's 4 areas that I want to talk to you about, that I think that if you do these things in those areas, then it will help. And it will help you move out of the stuckness, or at least it will help you to recognize stuckness, or at least choose then what you want to do about it. And the thing that I'm referring to is, when was the last time that you moved? When was the last time that you moved? And I don't mean only exercise. Like that's the first thing that we tend to go for. I don't mean that, and I'll explain why. And I'll explain why it's important that it isn't just that. I'm just gonna grab some water. And even now, like I'm standing, I don't usually stand when I do a live stream, but I feel like recently I've had a lot of physical movement. So there's 4 areas that I want to talk about. The first one is physical. And I have moved a lot recently physically, like with, you know, if you follow my personal page, you'll know like my sisters got married and it's been really busy, and physically I have moved a lot. Like I've been traveling, I've been moving, I've been lifting things, I've been tidying, I've been doing DIY, I've been moving a lot. But what I realized is what my body needed was the movement that works for me, that helps me, which is, you can call it exercise. It's Zumba, things like Zumba, which is a dance class. If you don't know Zumba, it's pretty much dancing, but just in a bit of a structured way with brilliant music, and if you're lucky, getting a brilliant teacher. And it always makes me smile. And I haven't done it for months, and I went back last Saturday, this Saturday just gone, and it just reminded me, how unfit my body felt, and how much fun I still had. And I was aching afterwards, and I love that ache, that kind of post-exercise, I have worked my body ache, and I felt it. I also then, a couple of days later, knew I needed to do some yoga. So I went back to that, and I hadn't done some yoga in a while. I've been good at doing stretches and things like that. And I think the last time I did some yoga was actually whilst I was traveling, when I was in California a few weeks ago. But I hadn't really I'd kind of fallen out of sync with my routine. And that's when I know that my body needed to move. And it's not just my body from an exercise perspective, it's how my body is feeling. Like now, I've been working at my desk all morning, my dining table is my desk, and I wanted to and I was like, this doesn't feel right. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this standing up. So it's not just exercise, it's how does your body feel? What does it need? What does it need to do? It could just be go for a walk. What does it need to do to help you move out of stuckness? Because it will help you shift mentally as well. You know, what does my body need right now? And it was to move, and that could be to move faster, it could be to move slower, like whatever it is, it's getting in tune with what your body needs. So that was like the first one. And if you're watching the replay, then let me know what you're thinking, let me know what's coming up for you, put it in the comments, and I'll always come back and read them. And I want to, let me know how this is resonating for you. So the second thing out of the 4 areas that really do, I feel, impact stuckness and can help you out of it is, when was the last time you moved? And this, you can ask this for each of those things. So when was the last time you moved physically? And then when was the last time you moved mentally? Like, what does that mean? So by that, I mean, like, when was the last time that you did something different? Because if we're feeling mentally stuck, then I know for me, it can be around maybe doing the same thing again and again, or maybe doing something without a break, especially from a work perspective, maybe having an overload of, whether it's thought, overload of what I think I should be doing, the shoulding, or maybe it's an overload of having just too much work and not enough time, and then saying, okay, something's got to give here. It's recognizing that stuckness, because that will drain you. And then it's doing something different. So when was the last time you did something different mentally? And I know that's something, so I've been doing a lot of DIY, and again, these are all going to overlap, these layers all overlap. And the last time, I was talking about the physical side, how much I've been moving my body physically, and I've been doing DIY. So basically, what I realized was that doing the DIY, so I was building a bookcase for my place on Sunday. I was doing it on Sunday, and I was out of my comfort zone with it, because I'm not the best person at DIY. I can do it and I can figure it out, but it's not like, and it is fun sometimes when you've got somebody else to work with, but it's not really my thing. But I'll do it if I have to, if there isn't anybody else around to help me. So it was kind of out of my comfort zone, because I have to be clear. I mean, it was simple enough, but it's kind of like needing the structure. It's not something I do every day. So it's like, okay, what do? I'll read the instructions, because I will read the instructions. and get my bit parts together, and then I will and then I felt really creative with it. So, and I really enjoyed it, and it was mentally using that part of my brain that I just don't normally use. And so it was taking me not just out of my comfort zone, but just mentally taking me to a different place, rather than what's happening with my new stress course, or what deadlines do I want to create for myself? Who else am I going to see this? All this stuff. It takes me to a different place. So mentally, when was the last time you moved mentally? And that could also mean for you, it could mean, I don't know, like it could mean doing some brain training. It could mean doing a crossword. It could mean listening to music, whatever it means for you to mentally move somewhere else to help you out of stuckness, but also to give you a range of things that you're doing as a whole, physically, mentally, and then I'll cover the other two, that can help you feel in sync with yourself. So the third thing is, just have to watch the time, just got an appointment. The third thing is when was the last time you moved emotionally? What the hell does that mean? Maybe you're thinking. So I know that when I feel stuck, that can contribute to my stress or my anxiety is when I am feeling certain emotions that either I don't really want to feel, or I don't want to express to someone because they might have upset me, or I'm pissed off with them about something, and I'm not sure how they're going to react, so I kind of don't necessarily tell them what I'm thinking or feeling. And I'm getting really good at doing that more and more, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel sweaty about it, and that I want to do it. And having those awkward conversations, but I can only have those awkward conversations with people if someone's upset me, or if maybe I feel like, I've given too much of my time to someone and I'm not getting it back, or don't feel a balance in a relationship, then I have to be able to recognize those emotions before I can express them to anyone. So if I'm avoiding the anger or that feeling pissed off with someone, or whether it's resentment or just that I feel vulnerable in any situation, then I might just stay with it, or I might avoid it, and that might make me feel even more uncomfortable if I'm avoiding it. But if I can recognize how I'm feeling, or also if I'm used to feeling that way all the time, if I'm used to feeling low or depressed, I used to spend a lot of time feeling sorry for myself, in the sense that I would spend a lot of time feeling quite low about myself, or about what I had to offer the world, or and I would stay there for a long time. Like habitually I would stay there for a long time because I was used to it, like it was a habit. And so this piece around when did you last move emotionally can be recognizing an emotion, or recognizing a habit that you're used to. So, what might I need to let go of that I'm used to thinking about or used to feeling emotionally, or what am I pretending not to know? Whether it's about myself, or whether it's about someone else, or whether it's about your work or your family, or something that you feel stuck with. What am I pretending not to know? And so the thing is that if we don't move emotionally, then we're gonna stay in that stuck place. And I know that I've experienced the most relief and joy, and then moving out of a crappy place, when I acknowledge that I do feel upset or angry or scared. And I know that my clients have had that same insight for sure every time, when we can just be with it. And even if you don't know how you're feeling or what that emotion is, because if we're not just used to naming things, then it's asking yourself, is this a habit, how I'm feeling right now? And how do I want to feel instead? And that can be a really great way to move forward. Or it could be to go off and do one of those other things, whether it's physical or mental. So you can see they all kind of fit in together. So when was the last time you moved physically? When was the last time you moved mentally? When was the last time you moved emotionally? What might you need to let go of or review in the habits of how you are with yourself? And the last one is, when was the last time you moved spiritually? And that could mean a number of things. It could mean religiously. It could mean your values, your beliefs, your morals, how you live, how you work, how you are in relationships. Like, when was the last time you questioned what you're doing? And maybe why, or maybe how? Like, is it like, if you're feeling so stuck and so upset or drained with your life, then is it time to be honest and say it's time to get a new job, or it's time to move on, or it's time to express what my true dreams are in my life? Is it being clear that actually this is not where I want to be right now, but I'm going to choose to be here right now because that's what feels safe for me, or I have to look after my family, so from a money perspective I'm going to stay in my job right now, but being honest with yourself about it. And or is it about moving something in a relationship? Like, what are my values and beliefs in a relationship, and do they match my partner or my friends or my family and or the people I work with? And if they don't, what am I willing to do about it? Does it matter to me that that my team have a different work ethic to me? Does it matter to me that the people I live with have a different housework ethic to me? Does it drive me crazy? Or do I want to do something about it? And that might feel scary, but it's at least asking yourself the question. And just that asking yourself the question can help you move in that zone. It can help you move past the stuckness, because once you acknowledge that, then you might not know what to do about that, but you can then create an intention to do something about it. So for example, if you're working a job that's draining you and people don't have the same work ethic as you, or you don't have the same work ethic as the people in your team anymore, then just acknowledging that can mean that you are aware of your behaviors, of how you respond or react to an email, or an uncomfortable meeting, or I don't know, like working late, for example. So it may then change your outlook on things that you may have been doing without realizing it. Does that make sense? So again, let me know if this is resonating with you, and which specific aspects of those areas, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, resonate with you, and what might you take away from that? Like, what's that one thing that you're taking away from listening to this video that you can take away with you going forward? Is it one of those areas? Do you want to go away and do a little review of all of those areas of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual movement? What are the things that you're already doing well? So don't forget those things. What are you doing well that can help support you coming out of your stress or your stuckness or your anxiety? Like, what are those things? Are you already really good at giving yourself mental space, but maybe you need to do more movement? That's always the case for me. And I want to get back out into nature. I haven't been walking enough with trees. Like, I just haven't been doing it enough, and I miss that. And so, what are the things you're already doing well? What are the habits that you can pick up again that have served you well in the past that can help you move forward? So what are all the things that you can do here? And because it's not always about doing more of something. Movement can also be doing less of. Do I need to move less? And it could also be traveling. Like, I always think of it as from the perspective of traveling. I'm a traveler. I love to travel. I'm not saying everybody else is, but if I don't travel to another country, not even in the UK, in London where I'm based, but if I don't travel to another country, then I start to feel stagnant. Like, something in my body and my mind, my emotions start to feel stagnant. I don't feel creative anymore. But when I do commit to traveling and going to the countries that inspire me, or new places that make me feel creative, then I come back a whole new person. Like, that's what California going to Palm Springs did for me. And when I booked that trip, I didn't quite know why I was going. So don't underestimate your version of travel and of movement. And the other thing is, if you're a fan of color and you want to bring more movement in any of those areas of your life, add in some orange. Add in some orange in your life, because it's all about the movement. It's all about travel and movement, emotional movement or physical movement, or moving from sadness to humor. So whatever it is for you, bring some orange in if there's an area in your life that you want more of. So physically you could, I'm gonna have to go soon. Physically you could, you know, I don't know, if you want to exercise more, wear an orange top or something, an orange outfit. Mentally you could have an orange scarf when you're meditating or something. Emotionally, you know, having orange around you in your environment, even if it's an orange candle or an orange cushion, just to help you feel at ease and let go of any emotions that aren't helpful for you. And the same goes for those spiritual belief aspects as well. And then like even physically, like things like food from the perspective of orange is things like ginger, turmeric. They're good for you. They nourish your body, and they're orange, so they can help you. That is looking at that whole picture. So orange is a great way of doing that. So I hope that resonates with you. I'm going to have to go now. I hope that resonates with you. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you found useful. Let me know what you might want more of or less of, and what in those 4 areas really stood out for you. I'd love to hear that from you. And I will speak to you soon. Bye.